So Joe, we had a question here. David asked, could Joe run by that 10-10 plan again?
Oh, well, that's just the idea that in an appreciation market like Florida, which is growing, you can buy 10 houses for 200,000 each, brand new construction homes. And over the next 10 years, if they grow at 5% per year, over the next 10 years, it'll go up 50%, or worth 300,000 each. So at the end of the 10-year period, you have $1 million of extra equity, not counting the down payment you originally put on the properties, just the appreciation. And then you convert that $1 million of equity or more into cash flowing houses. And if you got 10 or duplexes or fourplexes, anything that cash flows really well, and 10% cash on cash return on your $1 million is 100,000 a year. So you don't need to make it real complicated, or just buy 10 houses in Florida or someplace like it and wait 10 years. That's it.
Great, awesome. Okay, and then we got another one from Mark. He said, prices on homes keep going up. Is it time to wait and see if the bubble will burst and not pay for higher construction costs? Anyone?
I think that there is a law of averages with real estate. I mean, I think that people who try to time it all the time, especially when they're playing the game that we're playing, that is wealth creation over a long period of time. We're not speculating. We're not doing like super active forms in real estate or active forms of investing in real estate. So I think that if you are doing short-term, like active investing, yeah, timing the market is really important. But I think if you're playing the long-term strategy, that timing becomes less and less critical to your success. I mean, certainly I don't want to overpay for a property just as much as the next person doesn't, right? But I can see that the value of a property really only matters on 2 days, the day that I buy it and the day that I sell it. And if I'm holding that property for a 10, 15, or 30-year period, the way things are going, it for sure will be worth more.
That's good. Good point. Here's another one from John. He said, when a real wealth property management firm fails, do you help an investor find a new property management firm in that market? Who wants to take that one?
I can take it. When I first joined Real Wealth Network back in, well, I joined in like 2012 or 13, but when I came on board to work here in 2014, one of the first things that I did was we were having problems with a long time ago Cleveland provider, long since gone, and the property manager was just circling the drain. That wasn't keeping up, couldn't scale, was getting bigger, didn't see that he or she was getting bigger and wasn't hiring new people. So we just, I remember I called and interviewed about 3 other property managers in the Cleveland area, got a list of everybody who had bought through that provider, and just called or emailed them saying, you may be having problems with this property manager. Some of them weren't, but some were. Here's 3 that we vetted and recommended, and here's the rates that they are offering. So yes, we absolutely will help you. Luckily, that was 6 years ago, so it doesn't happen very often. But yeah, we will help to a certain degree. I mean, ultimately, it's your investment, and but we're there to help out, and you're part of a larger buying group. Being a Real Wealth Network member, which is one of the advantages of being a Real Wealth Network member, is you're not just on your own. We carry some clout, and all of our people know it, and so you're part of a bigger group.
Yeah, that's a big one too. I know that we have this process where if there is a challenge, we make note of it. If it's a problem property management, we'll reach out to that property manager and say, hey, you need to clean this up, you need to get things fixed, you need to get on track. It's almost like the 3 strikes rule, or the 2 strikes rule. And if you don't, we're not going to be able to refer people over to you anymore. And then that usually shakes them up a little bit and they get themselves on track.
Yeah.
There's another one, let's see, from Lewis. Do you guys purchase your property sight unseen? How do you get comfortable doing that?
I'll take that one.
First off.
So yeah, so definitely, we definitely strongly recommend that you go out and see the property. At least if you're a first time investor, you're a new investor, I absolutely recommend you go out there. It gives you a chance to see the neighborhood, meet our team, see the property, the rehab quality, if it's a turnkey house. It's very important. I personally don't see them anymore. I think the properties, I own 9 right now, and I think I've only seen 4 of them. So it sounds kind of strange to some people. They're like, wow, you never see all your properties? Well, I don't. I'm sure the other investment counselors are in the same boat. I'm so comfortable with the process now, doing this many times, and over the years I've been helping people along the way for over 10 years now, and then I've been investing myself. That like I don't need to go out anymore. But I think certain circumstances, like if I were going to buy a brand new multifamily or something, or maybe something that's going to be a higher dollar amount, I would maybe want to go out there. But for the single families, I don't necessarily go out there anymore, but strongly encourage you to go out there for the first time. And with COVID going on, a lot of people are not traveling right now. So our teams can provide virtual tours and photos and everything for you. So if you don't want to go out there, but if you can make it out there, it makes a world of a difference.
And about the virtual tours, I mean, they'll do a very detailed walkthrough of the property, you know, room by room, show you what kind of tiles they use, what kind of fixtures, the windows, everything.
Yeah.
And I would also recommend to investors that they have a tour of the street, like look up and down the street so you can see what kind of neighborhood it is. Do people have pride of ownership and mow their lawns? Are there nice cars, no clunkers? Because the neighborhood will affect your property value as well. So as long as if you don't want to travel because of COVID, the next best thing is to have a virtual tour of the property and the street.
That's great. And then always get a professional property inspection, appraisal, all that. Yeah, vital. Okay, here's another one. I know Real Wealth refers people to 19 different markets, and most of the new constructions will be in suburbs. How strong is rental market in these suburbs? Are these markets like new growth areas? And if yes, how many renters are ready to move to these growth areas? This is the only worry for me to take a shot.
This is extremely timely because we were just internally all exchanging some news articles that were coming out this week where suburbs nationwide are reporting the highest rental increases they've ever experienced over the last couple months. There's tremendous demand in the suburbs right now. So Wall Street Journal just did a big article on it yesterday. So I think the suburbs are where it's at.
Yeah. Cool.
I actually just got rent raises on 2 of my properties in the last 2 months. I was kind of shocked. I'm like 5% raises. I was like, cool.
Yeah, same.
Okay, here's a great one. Following Joe's, this is from Karen, following Joe's 10-10 plan, why wouldn't we apply that plan here in California, where the appreciation is also high? And as an example, is it fair to say that in California, you can invest in a duplex and get the same appreciation, $1 million instead of 10 doors with the same appreciation in Florida? Wouldn't this translate into less headache because of less doors, but the same appreciation amount?
It would certainly require 10 times the capital to do it.
Yeah, I mean, the big key there, Karen, is that, yeah, it might translate to less headache in the sense that you only own 1 roof of that duplex instead of 10 roofs with 10 properties, but it's not going to cash flow, most likely, in California. So, I mean, the key is, what is the individual property that you're buying? What is your costs, and what is it going to rent for? And if it's a duplex for $1 million, it's not going to rent for enough money to justify it. So you're going to be feeding that monster, most likely, every single month, subsidizing it. So it's negative cash flow. So it's exactly what you don't want. If you put it in 10 other locations or 5 or whatever, not only are you diversified geographically, you're diversified amongst numerous different properties so that if a tenant leaves, you don't have 0 income, but it actually cash flows, which is the key thing. And in California, the reason that we don't have any markets in California, or frankly anywhere west of the Mississippi except for Albuquerque, is that they don't cash flow. Your mortgage would exceed the amount of money that it would rent for, and so it torpedoes the entire purpose for doing it.
Yeah, that's a big one. Yeah, and then also California tends to be a more cyclical market. You know, yes, there can be appreciation, but it can be some massive drops. Kathy and I have seen that with our properties, and it is not a very landlord-friendly state to have renters in. Yeah, so there's a lot of challenges with California.
A lot of negatives.
Rent control.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. We'll go for another 5 minutes here, and then we'll wrap this up. I got another great one here from Sean. Do all real wealth lenders lend in all the real wealth markets? Do any of these lenders do portfolio lending?
I know that Aaron with Security Pacific, I think. He doesn't do New Mexico, I think. And I know that TCF Bank does not do Texas. So there are the occasional exceptions, but for the most part, all 5 of the lenders that we list on the site will do all of our markets with the occasional exception. And in terms of portfolio, I was talking to Sean with TCF Bank, and his TCF Bank, formerly known as Chemical Bank, they actually have like a portfolio loan kind of division. But generally speaking, they're all conventional lenders.
Okay.
We do have a couple. And to Ben's point, on our website, if you're a member and you log into our website, when you go to every market, it does tell you what lender is available to work in that market. But like Ben said, pretty much 99% of them lend everywhere, which is great. So if you get pre-qualified for a loan, and let's say you were thinking about Dallas, and all of a sudden you're like, you know what, I really like Ohio better. Well, then chances are that lender, you can use the same lender. I mean, which is great, not to switch. But we have a company called Corvest, which is a portfolio lender and a non-conventional lender. We do work with them, and they are able to do portfolio loans. So we do have somebody a point of contact, but you have to have experience. If you're brand new out of the gate, they won't lend to you. You have to be a seasoned investor, unfortunately, to do those types of loans.
Awesome. Thanks, Aristotle. Let's see, I got one from Preston Rich. Curious on some of your next goals that you would like to achieve personally and with real wealth. That's an interesting one. Yeah, Kathy and I are constantly, I'm in my office, I always have this right handy. I've got my whole list of all my lifetime goals, my 3-year goals, my 1-year goals. So yes, I'm constantly doing this. I try to walk the talk as best I can. For Kathy and me, it is really more about living life on our own terms, continuing. We've created a self-multiplying company where Real Wealth is really, run by our amazing people, our amazing leaders. So we're continuously building the company to get to there, and continuing to grow our portfolio of cash flowing properties. So basically what we want in the future is to be able to go on more adventures together with our daughters, and our older daughter's getting married in 2 days here at our house. So we're getting ready for that. So, and we have a grandchild. So, having more time to go on adventures, travel the world with our family. And really what we're doing at Real Wealth is to really give back. We've, as you probably know, the Real Wealth Foundation's donated over $500,000 to some of these charities that change the world. So Kathy and I want to go out and volunteer and work with some of those charities. So those are some of the things that are driving us. So, let's see. Thanks for all the questions, everyone. This is good stuff. Yeah. Let's see. Do you ever look at international properties? Someone want to answer that one? International properties.
Yeah, I've looked at it a couple times just because we've lived overseas quite often, and so we can't help ourselves, and we're curious, and we go investigate and find out. And as a network, no, we haven't. We do have some syndication opportunities that are abroad, but as far as buy and hold rental, they're all in the United States. But from a personal perspective, I've looked at it, and I just don't think there's a whole lot of opportunity that compares. Certainly when you consider the conventional loan that we can use here in the United States, it's hard to compete with that.
Yeah, Kathy and I have invested internationally, personally, with other companies, and it's been challenging sometimes. It's like when you deal with international law, if things don't go the way you want them to, dealing with attorneys in different countries can be a challenge. So a lot of times we lean away from that international investing now.
And exchange rate risk.
Exchange rate, yeah, that's another good point, Joe. Okay, another one from Doug. Does your team work with multifamily residential properties, 5+ units?
Generally not, but our Ohio team does have occasionally a 6-plex, but not much bigger than that I've seen.
Sometimes Dallas does work. Our Dallas property team does do 5+, and just for clarification, 1, 2, 3, and 4 units is within the residential realm, and 5+ becomes commercial realm. So it changes the way that they're appraised, it changes the way you qualify for it. And so we here at Real Wealth tend to focus on the residential because that's where most of our members are interested in, and that's where we mostly dwell. But occasionally our property teams do get things that are over 5, like Dallas, and I think Cleveland occasionally, but it's more the exception rather than the rule.
Okay, great. Okay, one last question here. We'll wrap this up. Sorry, I couldn't get all the questions today, but again, you can talk to your investment counselor. If you don't have an investment counselor yet and haven't done a strategy session with your investment counselor, just go to realwealth.com and just click on the investment area, and that'll take you, or you can go straight to realwealthnetwork.com, and you can get assigned an investment counselor and get a lot of these questions answered. So last question I'll ask you guys today is, are you aware, let's see who this comes from, it's from Erica. Are you aware of lenders who can work with non-W-2 income? I have an 850 credit score,
Wow.
but no verifiable income. How can I invest?
I'll take that one real quick. Yeah. So, well, congrats on the high credit score. That's amazing. That's like the top of the top.
Yeah.
But there are some lenders, and we'd have to check, but I know you can do what's called a bank statement loan. So you can do like 12 to 24 months of bank statements. But I don't know if any of our lenders, Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, can do that. But we do probably have some options for you.
Great.
Yeah, I mean, I talk to a lot of people that are self-employed, or, it's frustrating because you can have like a multimillionaire person who's 62 years old and just retired, and they have hardly any income, and suddenly they're like persona non grata in the eyes of the banks, and they can't get a loan, even though they've got a fantastic credit score, and they've got, 40 years of demonstrable perfect timing on everything, but still they can't get a loan. I still advise that they call one of our lenders and speak to them, because depending on how creative that lender is, and ours are pretty creative, they can usually figure out, I shouldn't say usually, many times can figure out a way that you might be able to make that work, just by, maybe it'll take a little while, you just have to jump through a few extra hoops to demonstrate what income of one form or another you have. And if nothing else, they can come up with, this is exactly what you need to do to get to where we can give you financing. And if that doesn't work, then do what Aristotle talked about and go with financing where they're looking at the property and not you, like non-recourse or non-conventional.
Love it. Awesome. Okay, again, so if you have more questions, connect with your investment counselor. They obviously have a lot of answers. That'll be really cool. Thanks you guys for being here today. I really appreciate your input, and wish you the best as a Real Wealth member on your financial journey to create real wealth so you can live life on your own terms. All right, bye everyone.
See you later.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.